These brakes are horrible. Definitely a little ashamed here, but metal on metal, bad. This caliper stuck, burnt the pad off, and then it unstuck, and I've just been milking it along. But we got new calipers. Well, I've had them since Christmas. New calipers and rotors and pads for the front. So we're gonna start with that. I know I got a wheel cylinder out on the back, and I've got it, but we'll do some more looking before we tear the back apart. Okay, I looked at the new calipers, and the bracket is already attached, so we don't need to take those bolts out. Caliper off. Now I need to get the spindle nut off and pull the hub and rotor off and separate the rotor, and we'll start going back together. So since this is a dual rear wheel, it's got this big adapter on the front of the rotor to space the wheels out. So we got to take these bolts off, then we can put the new rotor on. Right. Okay. While we got it off, we're going to go ahead and repack the bearings. Hopefully I didn't tear the seal up because I don't have any new ones. It looks fine. Clean some of this old grease out. So we got the hub cleaned up good enough. I'm gonna repack the bearings. In my opinion, the correct way to do this would be to put these in a parts washer, clean all the old grease off, but I don't have one, and I'm not gonna spend $20 in brake clean, and we'll just repack them and move on. So if you don't know, when you're packing the bearings, you want to take the bearing and force grease in there like that. And if you watch the edge, like right here, see the old grease starting to come out? That means you're forcing that old grease out and you're replacing it with new. And you just work your way around the bearing. If you just smear grease around the outside, you're not doing anything. You got to get, I've seen people do that with brand new bearings and burn the bearings up within miles, because you're not actually getting grease down in the bearing. So you got to force it in there like I'm doing here. They make packers that they work real good. If I had one, I'd be using one right now, but I don't. And no more than I pack bearings, I'm not gonna buy one. Kind of a messy job, but it's gotta be done. So we got all the way around it. I like to go ahead and smear some on the outside. It makes me feel better about myself. I don't know how necessary it really is, but so we'll drop that back in, and like I said, I forgot to get new seals, so we're going to be reusing them. But if this was an oil bath system, I wouldn't be reusing them. It's not, it's grease, so we'll be fine. My hand's wiped off a little bit here. So there's that. I'll grab the inside bearing and we'll go ahead and do that while we got our hands nasty. And same thing, we'll just work our way around the bearing. The outside bearing is always smaller than the inside bearing. It don't matter what it is. Cars, equipment, the outside bearing is always smaller. Got our new rotor. Get it bolted back down. All right. Well, this one is ready to bolt back up. Well, we got the spindle cleaned off, so we're gonna slide the hub and rotor back on. put the bearing in. Okay, so what I do, I'll tighten it till it bottoms out, spin it, and I'll back it off about an 1/8 or 1/4. It's hard to tell you exactly. You just got to feel it. You got to see if you got any play. You want just a fuzz, but not too much, if that makes any sense. Okay, we've got a cotter pin in, fold it over. It's easier if you got the wheel on, where you got some leverage to check. See, like we got some play right there, but that could very easily be the kingpins. That's what it is. Kingpins are a little loose. We're not messing with that today. So that's on. We'll get the dust cap on, and then put the caliper back on, and this side's done. Well, here's our new caliper and brake shoes. These are remans from O'Reilly's. Looks like this one swam in the bottom of the ocean for a while. Got new hardware. So the pads, these anyway, a lot of them don't, but these have an I and an O for inside and outside, which there's not even a difference in the two. There's literally no difference. So whatever, but let's get this thrown on and go from there. So there's the caliper. It's definitely different than a modern caliper. Modern, the bracket, which is this, attaches to usually the axle or the hub or something. The end, it doesn't attach to the caliper like this with just this. It's usually all bolted. Like the caliper bolts to the bracket bolts to the... So a little bit different. It works, obviously. It's been like that since '78, so, but just a little bit different than new stuff. Okay, that's one side done. I'm not going to film the other side. It's just like this side. So, well, we're back on the dump truck. It's been several weeks since the first part of the video when we did the front brakes. I've just been kind of milking it along, and I've got a ton of auctions coming up. I've got to take the skid steer and go do a job for somebody, so I got to have all my brakes working good. So today we're going to do the back. Looks like we might want to change the rear end grease while we're at it. Looks a little nasty. So I might have a socket that'll fit these, but you can take a flat chisel, get on a flat, and tap at those right out. If you're in a pinch, you can put them back together that way. I have a bunch, but I think I've probably got a socket when we go to put them back together. All right, what a mess. So, yeah, what a mess. Okay, we got the other side tore apart. So we got both sides tore apart. And here's what we got. Apparently when I ordered this stuff, I was smart enough to get wheel seals, so that's good. So we got wheel cylinders, wheel seals, shoes, hardware kit for each side, and new springs. Hopefully that's it. The driver's side was like 3/4 pad, but the passenger side, the side that the wheel cylinder's been out on, so well, better get started so we can get done. It's chilly today. It's been in the 60s and 70s. It's been in the 70s built really for a couple weeks, and it's 40. The high for today is 40, and it's like 36 right now, so I'm cold, but we gotta get this done, so let's get going. Well, we got the new brake shoes and all new hardware. Got the wheel cylinders changed. Got both sides ready. It's been as fun as you can imagine. I hate drum brakes. Little drum brakes. Semi drum brakes are a cakewalk compared to stuff like this. So, but it's what I'm used to. Did do a little investigation here on why the brakes have gone to crap already, or not already, why they went to crap like pretty quick. So this is the left driver's side hard line, and it was smashed completely flat, which is why that side had so much life left. Plus, I think the wheel cylinder was froze up, probably from not getting any fluid for who knows how long. Then the passenger side was leaking, which is where all the oil and nasty come from. Here's one of the liners, brake linings. So it shucked them off. The brake fluid and oil and grease and stuff like that just deteriorates them. So, and one of the springs was down in there. So, explain a lot. The brakes had really gone to crap. Now I know why. So, ought to be a whole lot better when we get done. So we're gonna, now we gotta clean the hubs up, knock the new seals in. We'll get the hubs put back on. Then I'm gonna have to go to town, because both the hard line over there was bad, then this one broke coming off. So I'm going to bend up some new hard lines, get them put on. Then hopefully we can get everything bled back out and be good to go. Okay. Okay, well, we got the hubs back on. I've got to run to town. I need some silicone for the axles, and I gotta get 2 metal brake lines. So had to use the chisel and a hammer to tighten the nuts up. No big deal. I thought I had a socket that size, but I didn't have one, so that'll work. I've done them 100 times that way. It's just as good. So like I said, we're gonna run to town and hopefully get this wrapped up tonight. Well, we're back the next morning. We had to go get the check for the semi and the trailer that we sold at the auction yesterday evening, and that's an hour away. And by the time I stopped, and I had to go to a couple different parts stores to get the brake line, so it was dark when we got back. So I've got the I got one axle put in. We're going to slide the other one in. Got the gasket coated with a little bit of Permatex. We're going to slide that axle in. Then we're going to get these 2 brake lines bent up, put them on, adjust the brakes, bleed them, and we should be good to go. Got the new brake lines on. Now we just gotta get the brakes adjusted. Well, me and Brent just finished the truck. Ended up having to do more than what we thought. So we went to bleed the brakes earlier. Couldn't get any pressure anywhere. And the master cylinder had gone out, which is what the final downfall of the brakes was. That's why they had completely gone to crap. So, of course, no one stocks a master cylinder for a 78 Ford, so we had to wait a couple hours for them to get one from their warehouse. So we ended up, after all said and done, new front rotors, pads, and calipers, a new master cylinder. On the back we got new wheel cylinders, new shoes, new hardware, new lines, new wheel seals. So brakes ought to be in good shape for a while. So once we got the new master cylinder on there, we had them bled in 5 minutes. So it was definitely, it's probably been going out for a while. Just the condition of the back brakes was camouflaging that, I think. So anyway, well, got all the brakes fixed up. It's definitely not a how-to video. I'm not a how-to video kind of guy. Everyone's got their own way of doing things. I was a heavy equipment truck mechanic for almost 20 years. I worked in a different environment than most. So I do things differently than other people. My job for almost 20 years was to keep money making equipment making money. I didn't work in a shop most of the time. I didn't work in a clean environment most of the time. I worked in field service, out in the field, by myself. My truck was the shop, and you did what you did to make things work. So that's really how my mechanical abilities go. I'm not the perfectionist. Those guys are needed in all aspects, but you also need people to keep money coming in. So that's what I did. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless.